Hi everyone, it's me Roxanne, and I'm back with a new series featuring a new machine. This machine is called the Serger Pro Finish Serger, and it's currently available on the market now. In this segment, which I'm calling Serger Basics, I will be showing you how to thread the left and the right needles and the upper and the lower looper. I will be showing you how to set up and stitch the 4-thread Ultra Stretch Mock Safety Stitch. That's this stitch, which I've done a demonstration of. This stitch is used in activewear and knits to hold your seams together, and this is the stitch that I use most with this particular machine. I will also be showing you how to remove and insert your needles and how to adjust your stitch length. So stay tuned. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do on this machine is how to thread the upper and the lower looper as well as both needles. The first thing I'd like you to do is turn the power off to your machine. It's just a simple, easy way of not having an accident with your fingers coming too closely in contact with your needles. Now I'm going to point out that your left needle is color-coded in blue, your right needle is color-coded in green, your upper looper is color-coded in orange, and your lower looper is color-coded in yellow. Notice that I'm using coordinating threads with each of the needles and the loopers. This is so it will be very easy to tell what each part of the stitch is doing, and this will help you learn to read your stitch. This is a view of the machine from the back side. First, pull up your telescopic thread guide. These 4 guides are the first guides that your cone thread will go through on the thread path to the machine. Notice that there are these small plastic holders that will help secure your cones in place. Place your 4 cones onto the thread holder and make sure they're secure. Now pull each thread up and place it through that thread guide, one by one. Over the top, through the eyelet and down. And the last one through the eyelet and down. This is still a view from the back of the machine. The next thread guides that I'm going to show you how to thread are these 4 eyelets. Take your thread, your first thread, and place it from the right to the left in that thread guide, and drop your thread through this groove. This thread guide is open on the right side, so place it through the right and let it fall right down through that groove. This is a view of your tension discs from the front of your machine. I'd like you to set all of your tension discs to 0 and pick up your presser foot. This makes sure that there is no tension engaged in your machine. Now make sure that each one of your threads is going down through the tension disc. This is to ensure that you won't have any problems later. Open the front cover of your machine by placing your thumb in this depression and pulling to the right. Notice inside this cover there are illustrations showing you how to thread your machine. The first 2 eyelets I'm going to show you how to thread are the upper and lower looper. The eyelet for the upper looper is here, and there's an eyelet for the lower looper here. They are open on the right side, so you just slide them in easily from the right to the left. This is a close-up of the inside portion of your machine. I'm going to show you how to thread the lower looper, which is yellow, and there are 4 thread guides coated with yellow dots. Here's the first one, here's the second one, it's the third one, the fourth, and the last one is this bar on top with a hole right on the end. Now there's an illustration here inside the cover of your machine, and if it's not clear as to how I'm showing you how to thread it, these 2 illustrations will be helpful. The first thing you do is go down to this thread guide and use your tweezers. Go through this first eyelet. Now don't be discouraged if it's a little bit tedious to do this. It's always a little bit tedious the first time you try, and I've done this dozens of times, and it's still sometimes a little bit of a pain to get them in the thread guides properly. So now the 4 first thread guides are threaded, and the last one is this bar, and you take your thread and put it behind that bar so it catches in a little hook back inside that bar. And the last step in threading the lower looper is putting it through this hole, pulling it through, and you're finished. The next thread is the orange thread, which is the upper looper, and it has 3 thread guides that are marked with orange, 2, 3, and then it has to go through this looper at the top, this little lever that goes in and out from the left to the right. So start off at your first thread guide, go under, and then go from the left up under the second guide, and then from the top down on the third guide, and then thread it through the hole at the very top of that looper. Just like that. Now I'm going to show you how to thread the right needle. So that thread is coming straight down through your tension disc, and it will go under this thread guide, under this next thread guide, and over the top with the green dot. Then it will come straight down to a small pigtail, go from the left, and you have that threaded. The last part of your machine that still needs to be threaded is your left needle. Your blue thread is coming down through the tension disc, go below this thread guide, go above the blue dot, and come straight down from the center to the left around that small pigtail right above the left needle. Now your machine is completely threaded. Now that your machine is completely threaded, here is a close-up of your 2 needles. Your right needle is needle A, and your left needle is needle B. And if you notice, there's 2 screws here. And this machine comes with this small screwdriver, and if you loosen screw A, you can remove the right needle, and if you loosen screw B, you can remove the left needle. The last thing you need to do to thread your machine is thread your needles. And this is another process that you need to have patience with, because it's not easy to always get to your needles. But one more thing I want to point out is how your left needle rides just a little bit above your right needle, and that is a proper position. So I don't want you to be concerned if you see that they're not even, like on a conventional machine when you have double needle. So use your tweezer and have patience and thread your right needle. And use your tweezer again. And thread your left needle. Now I've done this all in real time because I want you to notice that it's not always an easy process, even though I have a lot of experience with this machine. So I want you to give yourself time to learn this machine and be patient with yourself. Now you're ready to turn your machine on and do a test stitch. On page 6 of your manual, to do the 4th thread ultra stretch mock safety stitch that we're setting it up to do, it suggests putting your left or your blue thread on 2.5, your green thread on 2, your orange or your upper looper on 2.5, and your lower looper or your yellow thread on 2. Before I go ahead and start to do a test stitch, this is the right side of your machine, and this dial that is set to number 3 is your stitch length, which is a medium length stitch. Here I am at the front bed of the machine ready to do a test stitch. I'm using the same Lycra two-way stretch knit that I showed you in the beginning of the demonstration. Place it under the toe, behind the cutter, and press your foot pedal. And notice this machine is quite a bit noisier than your regular sewing machine, and that it cuts while it sews. Now I want you to look at the stitch. You can see that the orange thread is your upper looper, and that the lime green thread is your right needle, and the aqua blue thread is your left needle. And then on the reverse side, you can see the yellow thread, which is your lower looper. And this is what it will look like from the right side, a nicely sewn seam that has stretchability and won't pop. So there you have it, my first video in this new series featuring the Singer Pro Finish Serger. I will be following up with this series and showing you how to do many other stitching operations with this machine and pointing out all its wonderful features and benefits. So I hope that you'll follow along and you'll give yourself patience when it comes to learning how to use your serger. Thanks again. Have a happy creative day. Take care now. Bye.